My colleague across the aisle, Mr. Allen, just acknowledged that this Congress doesn't seem to have gotten anything accomplished. I just want to note for the record, this is a GOP-controlled majority Congress, and I would agree with him, unfortunately. But, Mr. Mix, I have some questions for you, and this is my preface is for all of you. I represent Pennsylvania 7. It is a community with one of the richest legacies of organized labor anywhere in the country. It's home of Mack Trucks and Bethlehem Steel. And in Pennsylvania 7, we know that strong unions are the key to a strong economy where people can work hard and get ahead and can support their families. Mr. Mix, you testified in favor of H.R. 1200, a law that, if implemented, would force every state in the nation to adopt so-called right-to-work laws. And in your testimony, you claimed that union-negotiated contracts often work against the interests of the employees. So my question to you, and I've spent a lot of time with unionized employees in my district, is it against the interests of workers to have wages that are on average 11.2% higher than their non-union counterparts, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics?
No.
And is it against the interests of workers to have better access to paid leave and pensions, two more benefits that, again, my unionized workplaces are much more likely to offer?
Yeah, I would say no. I mean, the idea of those benefits being available, why wouldn't you rely on voluntarism? Why do you need compulsion? Why do union officials need compulsion in law to force workers to associate with them and pay dues as fees? If they're doing this great work that you've all talked about, then people would join them voluntarily.
Well, we'll have to invite you when we have a hearing on what management tactics take place to discourage people from joining unions, but I reclaim my time. And we know that a 2021 report on the construction industry, one of the most dangerous industries in the United States, found that nationally unionized work sites are 19% less likely to have a safety and health violation than their non-union counterparts. And I'm sure we can agree that that is in the interest of all workers, correct? To have a safe, healthier workplace?
Yeah, well, you know, if you're doing that great things, why wouldn't people want to join voluntarily? Why do you
Thank
need
you.
compulsion?
Thank you. And I'm going to move on to Mr. Jody Calamine. And let me just say that based on data that I reviewed from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average median union worker is paid approximately 20% more than the median non-union worker. In the private sector, union workers are 26% more likely to be offered health insurance through work, 12% more likely to have access to paid sick leave, and 53% more likely to have defined benefit pension plans than their non-union counterparts. And I could go on, but I don't ever have enough time for that. But the data is crystal clear, in my view. Workers are better off when they have the right to organize. I'm going to ask you, sir, if you, based on your experience, can you expand on how union contracts provide more freedom to workers? And if you could incorporate, into your answer, is it fair to say that right to work is a misleading term and these laws actually take away rights from workers to freely join a union? Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the question. With respect to the first question, when you have a union contract and you have union representation and you're living your life, a union contract sets up a kind of rule of law of the shop. And if the contract says you're entitled to a week's vacation and you need to use that vacation to go see your sick mother in another state, you can be ensured that you will have time, you'll have that time and you won't be retaliated against or lose some sort of a benefit because you decided to partake in that benefit. So it's all about having that support as you exercise, your engage in, receiving benefits and so forth at work. You are protected with your union contract. That provides for a lot more freedom in a person's life. They can go about their life with a lot more confidence on how things will turn out more predictably. You're not operating at the whim of a boss who can engage in arbitrary actions. With respect to right to work itself, I lay out in my testimony, the time's running out, but I lay out in my testimony all the ways in which it is not about worker liberty at all. It's more about giving the employer the ability to control the workplace.